Hey everyone, ZeBirdBrain's here, and today we are talking about compositing. If there's one compositing subject people have been waiting for me to cover, it has to be the line boiling. And to be fair, I just forgot to make a video about it. It was supposed to come right after the line splitter tutorial. Oh well. You will be surprised by how easy it is to produce a line boiling effect in the software, and there are actually quite a few ways to do it. So today I will be teaching you one very easy way that will work with the pencil or the brush line. This method relies on the Turbulence Node. The Turbulence Node is a node that deforms your images in a lot of funny ways, but that's for another video. In the meantime, if you want to learn about the Turbulence Node, I will provide documentation in the description down below. For now, we'll just learn the basics to be able to make your line wobble like this. So as usual, let me destroy this setup so that we can build it up again together and have fun. So the animation I'll be using today is the classic dancing bird animation I've got on my computer, because it uses a mix of pencil tool and brush tool to do its cleanup. So it's going to show you that this works on both. So first, what we want to do is to have our color and our line separated. Of course, if you did your cleanup the right way, by putting your line and your color on different layers, you'll be fine, so you can take the line art and color art. Layer and simply separate your animation in two. If you're using rigged animation, don't forget to put a composite under to be sure that everything is flattened out. And there, you should have your line and your color separated. Another thing, if you're using multiple pieces, be sure that your line art is set to flatten so that it can cut away what you don't want to see. The next step is to make our line move, because for now it's static. So what we're going to do with that is take the Turbulence node and I will connect it to the character itself. And you see in the OpenGL view it's going to look super weird. It's normal. If you go in render view, it will be fine. It's just the way that the software kind of makes it easier to be read. so it kind of fucks it up, but that's fine. If you go in render, it will work fine. So that's why I advise you to use a render preview node if you're working with that. It will allow you to work with a rendered image in your OpenGL view. So I'm in the work view, but I have my render. If you want to know how it works, I'll also put the documentation in the description box of the video. But it's pretty easy. You just ask it to render your frame and it's gonna render them as it goes. So if I make a change or anything, I can render them again. And you can see your animation live in the OpenGL view. You can also change the quality so it renders faster, and I'm gonna do that today so that it's better to see what we're doing. Alright, so now that I have everything set up, I'll go in my Turbulence and I'm gonna show you a little bit of how it works. So basically a Turbulence, what it does is it will turbulate your image. If you pull the amount to 100, for example, you see it's changing, and if you change the frequency to 100, it's gonna change as well. This is basically changing your image with a noise. Like if I show you what it's looking like actually with the Turbulence noise, and I set it to the same settings, you'll see that if I put a display under it, it does that. So it's the Turbulence is kind of deforming your image with a noise. That's basically what it does. So if you change the settings here, you would be deforming your image with that kind of settings. So if you're not sure about what you're doing with your Turbulence, try playing with the Turbulence noise first and then just applying that to the other one. That's how I learned how it works. So then we want to apply this Turbulence to our line art. So now the change in our line art is way too crazy, so I'm just gonna go tone it down a little bit. I'll go put something less. So you see now it doesn't move that much, but if I pull it up, it's gonna be way too deformed. But it can be very cool. Like, I actually like this kind of stuff. It's kind of great, but I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. Like that. And if you want to make it move, because for now it's still static, so you go here, you can change the evolution and key it, but this is a bit more advanced, and if you're not very confident in your knowledge about the Turbulence node, I'm gonna show you something very easy. You can just take a peg, connect it to your Turbulence, and if you move this peg around, you will move your Turbulence around. So let me show you here. If I move my peg, my line art is getting deformed by the noise of the Turbulence. So if you animate that with keyframes, you can get a very cool effect. So I'm gonna do that. Put a keyframe here, another one here, another one here, and maybe another one here. I'm just doing this at random. I'm not sure if it's gonna look good, but who cares? It's all about experimentation. Then I'll remove the interpolation so that it snaps from one keyframe to the other. I'm gonna put that at the beginning, and to have it loop, instead of copy pasting my animation forever and ever and ever, what I'll do is I'll put a transform loop node. If you don't know what a transform loop is, it's very easy to use, so I'm just gonna link the documentation in the description box. It basically just takes the animation that is on top of it and makes it loop forever and ever and ever. You can have it repeat, you can have it ping pong, repeat and offset, you can do lots of things with it. So then my 4 keyframes will be repeated throughout my animation. So if I modify them at the beginning, the animation will be modified for the whole rest of the timeline, which is great. So now if I make a little playback to see what it looks like,
I want to render this from again.
Okay, this might be a little bit too intense, but we'll fix it. We just have to change either the settings of our turbulence to have it maybe turbulate our image a little less, or we can also change the way we moved our keyframe. So that fine-tuning is the part where you do it yourself because it needs to fit your project's needs. Sometimes you need a lot of turbulence like crazy. Sometimes you need something more subtle like this. If you want to have even more random, you can even use the Shake and the Quake node, which are usually there to make your camera shake or quake, but you can also put it in a peg here and it will just make it wobble and stuff. But this one is a bit harder to control, but if you don't want to control it very easily and you want it to be very random, well, Shake and Quake are your best friends. But I will cover them in another video. But today we are out of time, so I wish you a wonderful week and I hope you have fun putting line boiling on your animation.